They're very high. The expectations are always very high. The standards, we always try and, every camp we come into, raise the expectations, raise the standards. And that's already started today. You know, we had a classroom session before lunch where the session was actually only supposed to be sort of 45, 50 minutes long, but the second half of it was very interactive, where the players were sort of assigned little tactical tasks where they had to go away and work in groups and then come and present to the rest of the team their sort of tactical insight. And instead of 50 minutes, the class ran to like 1 hour, 20 minutes. But that was purely due to the amount of sort of engagement the players had in terms of their own learning. So, you know, even for me as a coach, sometimes players and young men can be a bit shy, maybe is the word. You know, they don't want to get up and talk in front of their teammates. They don't want to maybe get things wrong. But the guys this afternoon at lunchtime were very, very good. And so even that feeds back into the training going, well, if this is their level of engagement in the classroom, maybe we can raise the bar again out on the training field. So yeah, it's already been a good start. And now this is our first on-field session, so we're looking forward to it.
Coach, what are you considering to select the 5 that will be joining the professional players?
There's a couple of things in there, obviously. First of all, there's natural gaps that are in the senior team. So generally, I look to select 2 players in every position. And so already you look at the foreign-based list of our players who are playing regularly abroad and who are at a very competitive level. And you can see that, for example, at the number 9 position, we've got a number of options there. So it's maybe more difficult for a number 9 from this group to push his way in. It's not impossible, but it's maybe more difficult. Whereas you look, for example, at the centre-back position, really Timothy Awani is the only regular centre-back we've got playing abroad. We obviously have others who can play in there. Ronald Muchibi can play in there if we need him to. And we're also hoping, Bevis Mugabe is due to start training with Motherwell again today. So we'll be in touch with Motherwell during the week to see how his condition improves during the week. And you never know, that might be a possibility. But already you can see there's probably more opportunity for a centre-back from this group to make the step up. So one is the positions we need, but secondly, it's just players who are ready for it, to step up into that environment. Are they going to be competitive? Every player that gets selected for the Senior A team has to be ready to go on the field. There's no charity places. There's no one coming for a holiday for the experience. If you're selected in the 23, 25-man squad for the senior team, it means we have full confidence that you can go on the field and play. So those are sort of the 2 things, the positions we need, and are these players really ready to go on and have an impact like someone like Fad Bayo had against Malawi. We put him on the field and he had an impact, and that's what we want from any player, to have an impact.
Okay. Coach, I understand you have 2 groups, the Chan group and the AFCON group. How are you going to work with the 2 groups?
It's all about planning. I think if you speak to anybody who works with me at the Federation or here at the technical staff, I'm sort of obsessive with my planning. I have my documents, my folders, and it's something that I like, planning things to the very finest detail. And so because of that, it means when we get into training environments, I don't have to think about the planning. It's already been done, or 95% of it's been done, and we just need to do the minor tweaks if there's an injury or something like that. So really, it's not in the moment when we're actually training, it's not so much of a challenge. And if you remember back in March, actually, it was an even more difficult situation than we face going forward, because in March, we had the Chan training camp and the senior training camp were going to happen at the exact same time. Obviously, this group of players will be with us until Sunday, and then from Monday, 75% of this group will go back to their clubs. Only those selected to continue will remain. So in that sense, we're not crossing over. It's one after the other consecutively, whereas in the past we have had situations where they've overlapped. But again, good planning can help resolve most of the challenges.
When do you hope to start receiving professional players?
the Egyptian League finished this weekend, so over the next coming days we expect to have the guys coming down from Egypt, so Nisabambi, Aocho and Chiambadi. Emmanuel Okwi is a little bit different because his team are in the semi-final of the Egyptian Cup, and as of last night we hadn't been given a definitive date for that semi-final game, so we're unsure if it'll happen before the international window or after it. So at the moment we're estimating Emmanuel will join us next weekend, as with the rest of the foreign-based players. Other than that, we're looking at most guys have games next week. There's one or two, like I know Dennis Onyango plays on Wednesday, so we might be able to get him in 1 or 2 days earlier. Say Michael Azira might be available 1 or 2 days earlier, but for the majority of them, we expect them Sunday night, Monday morning.
How many players are to select from this team to join the team?
In terms of our numbers, look, for me, I like squads of 25. I don't know why that is. I just tend to name squads of 25, maybe 26. I don't like going above that because when you get into your if you think 4 of those, 3 or 4 are usually goalkeepers, and then when you get into tactical work, that means 20 outfield players on the field. And okay, 25, 26 players in a squad, you'll have 2 sitting out for sub in and out. But if you go to like 30 players in a squad, you've got a lot of guys sitting down. And I don't like that. I like people to be active. So by my general own personal feelings, usually it's about 24, 25, 26 players in a squad. And so given that we've named sort of 20 foreign-based players, forgiving there might be 1 or 2 injuries, who knows, we have to see this week, but you would imagine that means probably 5 or 6 of these guys will take the step up. However, look, if 8 of these guys come this week and put in a performance that simply says we have to be there next week, then no problem, I'll make that work. But equally, if only 2 or 3 of these guys show that they're at the level to compete for next week, then we'll only pick 2 or 3. So in my head, it's probably around 5, but these players, it's their performance that dictates the number beyond anything I might have previously considered. Yeah, I think, look, ultimately there's a group of guys there. It's not just Tony. You've got Tony, you've got Dennis, and you've got Murashid. 3 guys who have huge experience, have played at really good levels of the game, and for different reasons, their last 9 months, 10 months, hasn't been as they would have liked it to have been. But also for all of them, they've moved categories recently, because by signing for a UPL team, they become eligible for Chan. So equally this week for all of them, and look, I've said to them, if they come in and perform at an extremely high level this week, then of course they can be included for South Sudan. However, that's not the pressure we're putting on them. In my mind, given that they've been away for a little bit, the chances of them being named to the South Sudan squad for the South Sudan game is probably less. It doesn't rule them out, but it's less. This is really a check-in for them, because we're going to start preparing for Chan around the 14th of December. You know, we're going to start then, and we're going to have 2.5 weeks here in Uganda before we fly to Cameroon for a friendly tournament that we're going to play over there before the tournament, the big tournament starts. Now, if I wait until the 14th of December to see the likes of Murashid, Tony and Dennis in our training environment, it's probably too late for them. It's going to be a big challenge. So this was really a case of, look, we've got 6 days training with the home base guys. No pressure, let's bring you in, let's see where you are physically, technically, and just even how you fit into our system, because I've said before that you don't always select, not all good players make it into the squad, because they've got to fit into the system we're playing. And if you think about it, the type of Uganda Cranes team that Tony Mawejje and Dennis Iguma played in is a different one than we're building now. There's a different playing style developing. So this is a great opportunity for them to come in and see how we're developing the team, and for us to see where they're at. And look, you should never discount experience. Everyone loves young players to play. There is no doubt about that. But experience is so valuable. You look at the goal that Emmanuel Okwi scored against Malawi. How many players would have went to challenge for the header through inexperience. Whereas Emmanuel read the flight of the ball and he decided, I'm not going to challenge the defender for the header, I think he's going to miss it. And he backed away, controlled the ball and scored the goal. Experience was the reason he scored that goal. And so the likes of Mawejje, the likes of Tony and Dennis, huge experience that can only help the young boys. But again, it's down to their performance. Nobody gets a free ticket because of what they've done in the past.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.